Recently I've seen a few posts and videos about Hawthorn players and which are considered A graders and B graders, so today I'm doing my own video. Typically most of the ranking videos I've seen don't use A-/B+ as ranking, usually just A to B, and I feel like that makes them very invalid, so I've done my own little tier list just to get these picks as accurate as possible. So at the top, looking at A+/tier 1, they're the best players in the game. They're your Bonts, your Dacosses, your Nazais, your Butters, all those guys. A grade/tier 2, obviously they're A grade players, it's just compared to the A+, they are just the next level down. A-/tier 3, these are the guys that are too good to be in the B grade category, but not quite good enough to be genuine A grade players. B+/tier 4 is basically the same thing as A-, just slightly worse. Then tier 7 and 8, C+/C, they're probably your most average players, so anyone around that area is probably going to be an average AFL player. Now let's get into it. I'm ranking every Hawk except the Hawks that haven't debuted yet, because I feel like it's unfair to rank a player that hasn't played a game yet. Starting with C/C+, so tier 7 and 8, we have Sam Butler, Cam Mackenzie, Harry Morrison, Finn McGuinness, and Ned Reeves. Harry Morrison had a super consistent season on the wing in 2025 before going down with injury, averaged about 18 touches and was really solid, had a career best year. In my Hawks 2026 lineup video, I did have Harry Morrison starting in the depth position, so if you're interested in seeing that video, go check it out, but I still think he's going to be a really solid player in 2026. Cam Mackenzie started the season, I think his first 7 or 8 games, he averaged about 20 touches with a 30 disposal game against the Giants. He's a top 10 pick going into year 4, and we saw what Josh Ward did in year 4, having really consistent about 20 to 21 touches per game, and I feel like Cam Mackenzie could definitely have similar production in 2026. Sam Butler actually had a really solid year coming back from a broken leg. In the finals, he really stepped up. In the Adelaide final, he was the 3rd highest rated player on the entire ground. I think he had 15 touches, 9 tackles, and 2 goals. So yeah, if you're getting that production as a small forward/on baller, that's more than enough if you're coming off the bench. He's only about 22, 23, so if he comes into 2026 averaging maybe 7 to 8 tackles, a goal a game, sort of the mid-teens touches wise, and he's just a good depth player for the forward/mid position, yeah, he's going to be a really good asset to this Hawthorn side. I'll say Reeves is probably between an average and above average caliber ruckman in the AFL. Unfortunately, he got pushed out of the side because of Lloyd Meek having arguably a career best year, and I think if Hawthorn go into next year playing 2 rucks at times, then Reeves is going to have a much bigger impact in 2026. It's tough to say with Finn because his best games are good, but he's sort of just that average player. He can play the tagging role at times, which is always going to be valuable. I think right now, I'll take Morrison, but in 2 years' time, when Finn is Morrison's age, I'll take Finn, so I think he's got good potential. Now, B/B-. For the genuine B graders, I have Barris, Chol, and Meek. In between, I have Nash, and then B-, I have Deer, Ward, and Lewis for now. Tom Barris, his numbers don't stand out. He's not flashy, but he just does his job every week when the other team's best key forward. So yeah, he's definitely a solid B grader in my opinion. Chol was the leading goal kicker in 2024 and came second in 2025, kicking over 40 goals and almost 2 goals per game. So one of the most underrated players in the team. Elite tackle pressure for a big guy, and yeah, criminally underrated. I think he's definitely a solid B grader. Lloyd Meek, when it comes to best rucks in the competition, his name is never in there, but numbers wise, hit outs and hit outs to advantage, he's top 5, and I feel like he's definitely in the top 6 to 7 ruckmen in the game, potentially the top 5. So yeah, always underrated. I think if he just averaged a couple more marks and a few more disposals, his name would definitely be in the top 5 conversations. Nash is kind of the same as the other guys. He's not flashy, his numbers don't jump off the page, but realistically over the last 3 to 4 seasons, he's averaged about 20 touches, but he's clearly more of a defensive mid at this point in his career, especially against players like Bont, Cripps, Tom Green, bigger body midfielders. He definitely does a good job on them, and even just wrestling and grappling and trying to get into positions for the whole game. Nash is about 6'6", so it does wear them out, and that provides a value to the team overall. So yeah, I think he's a definite B/B- player. Deer, Ward, and Lewis, it's going to be controversial in the comments, I guarantee you that. Let's start with Deer. In his rookie year, 17 games, 25 goals, including a 3-goal 4 performance against the Dogs in the finals. For a key forward rookie, that's elite. That's 10 out of 10. Usually rookies take 2 to 3 seasons minimum to get that production. Yes, obviously a down year in 2025 due to injury, but we've seen his best footy and it's definitely a B-grade caliber worthy. So I think Deer going into 2026 is definitely a B-grade player. Ward only averaged about 20/21 touches throughout the home and away season, but he did have that 30 disposal game against the Crows in the finals, and I feel like that just pushes him from a C+ to a B- in my opinion. Numbers don't jump off the page, but he's super consistent. He only averages about 20 touches, but he doesn't really get below 20 touches too often. It's sort of that genuine between maybe 18 and 23, maybe more sometimes. But yeah, I feel like he's just slotted into that B- level player at the moment, with potential to be a B+ player in 2026. Look, I'll be honest, Lewis isn't a B grade quality player right now, but that's because of injury. Before his injury, let's not forget, in 2022 and 2023, I think he kicked over 70 goals from about 35 25 games or something ridiculous like that, and that's rare. Not many players do that. So yeah, going off pre-injured Lewis, he's definitely a B-grade player, but I think coming into 2026, if you can actually get a consistent 20 games in, then he could probably kick 40 to 50 goals if everything falls in his favour. This next tier is B+, but I'll be honest, it's more like B/B+/ players with potential to either go B+ or higher in 2026, so let's get into it. Weddle, Ginnivan, Wizard, McDonald, D'Ambrosio, and Scrimshaw. Starting with Weddle, there's not much to say. We know how good he is, and he's going to get even better playing up the ground in 2026. I think numbers-wise, if Weddle can average 20 touches, kick 20 goals, and let's say 6 to 7 marks in 2026, he's probably going to be in the All-Australian squad. So yeah, sky's the limit, unlimited potential. He's going to get paid over $1 million because he's at the end of his contract in 2026. So yeah, going to be a big year for Weddle. Jack Ginnivan, after he got dropped the box here, he came back and averaged over 20 touches and over a goal a game for I think it was like a 17 or 18 game sample size. So huge. If that was throughout the whole season, he would definitely be in the All-Australian squad. Ridiculously high IQ, one of the best in the AFL in my opinion. He may not do the flashiest of things, but he just gets in the right position. He makes the right decisions, and it's just one of those link-up pieces that every team would love to have. The Wizard, he hit 36 goals in 2025, and the natural progression says he's probably going to kick over 40 and between 40 and 45 in 2026. If he plays more midfield minutes, attends more centre bounces, pushes those numbers up to say around 15 touches per game, he's probably going to be in the All-Australian squad conversations as well. So it's going to be a big year for Watson. I definitely feel like he could potentially be an A-grade player if he kicks 50 goals in 2026. Connor McDonald, you might consider him just to be a B-grade player, but if you look at his stats from 2024, it was about 17 to 18 touches per game, over a goal per game, which is pretty elite for a 21-year-old. His best games, yes, in small sample sizes, but his best games are elite. He's had over 25/30 disposals multiple times. When he is playing on the footy, he has kicked multiple bags throughout the last couple of seasons, and his best games are definitely B+ worthy. Yes, consistently, he's probably not a B+ player every single week, but I feel like if he's moving into the midfield in 2026, I could definitely see him getting over 20 per game and 20 goals in the season. So yeah, it's a big year coming up for C-Mac. Massimo D'Ambrosio, obviously a down year in 2025, but All-Australian squad 2024. Let's not forget he had 30 disposals in the finals against the Dogs. He was probably a B grader at best in 2025, but we're seeing his best footy from 2024 and his best games in 2025, and they're definitely a B+ caliber worthy. He's only about 22 years old, so he could potentially be an A-grade player in 2026 if things fall his way. So yeah, another big year for Massimo D'Ambrosio. Jack Scrimshaw, one of my favourite players and one of the most underrated players in the entire competition. I mentioned in one of my recent videos from 2021 to 2024, 4 seasons, 80 game sample size, Scrimshaw collected 20 or more 39 times out of 80 games. So every second game you're getting 20 touches from a backman. He's elite. Before Battle and Barris came in, he was what Josh Battle was in 2025, in 2024. So underrated. Unfortunately, he was the one that just got pushed out with the 2 new backmen coming in. Now Weddle's going to be playing up the ground. I think it's Scrimshaw's time to really step up and have a career best year. Now we're moving on to the A tier. It's going to be A/A-. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to spoil it, but I don't think Hawthorn have any A+ caliber players right now, but definitely they have more than enough A/A- level players. So let's get into it. I really don't understand how people don't at least consider these Hawks to be A- caliber players. Gunston, Day, Newcomb, Moore, Amon, Impey, Hardwick, Battle, and Sicily. Let's look at the A grade players first. Gunston just led the goal kicking, 3rd in the Coleman, just made the All-Australian team. After his 2025 season, he's definitely an A grader. 2026, unknown so far because of age, but right now he's definitely an A grader. Will Day, John Newcomb, Dylan Moore, they're all A graders, no doubt about it. Their best footy is A grade quality, and in my opinion, they're the 3 most important players on this Hawthorn team. Now, Josh Battle just made the All-Australian team, one of the best defenders in the competition, a real mobile centre half back that can take your 2/3 tall, and all round, he's not flashy. His numbers don't necessarily jump off the page, even though they're really good. Average almost 19 touches, but yeah, the fact he's not considered an A grader is absolutely criminal. James Sicily, yes, he's had a bit of a down year in 2025, but looking back to 2023 when he was an All-Australian, yes, I know it was a couple of years ago, but he was unstoppable and at his best, one of the best defenders in the entire comp. Now, the next 3 are borderline, but they're still A graders in my eyes. Amon, Impey, and Hardwick. Look at Amon. He averaged 24 as a backman in 2025 and was probably robbed of an All-Australian squad selection. Came 2nd in the Hawks, best and fairest. His lethal left foot just sets up play from halfback beautifully. Kicks out from fullback, and just his ability to hit a target as well as he does is just so valuable to this team. It sets up plays from halfback, and yeah, like I said, second the best and fairest. So he's got to be an A grader. Jarman Impey, one of the heart and soul players of this team, plays hard every week. Just he's tough. He's as tough as nails when you think about it. After round 6, he had a shocking start to the year, to be honest. I think his first 5 or 6 games were just not it. But afterwards, I think the same time Ginnivan came back and started playing his best footy, I think Impey averaged about 22 touches per game in the last 17 or so games for this season. He's one of the most important players. His run of halfback is just insane. He's just so underrated. He's definitely an A-grade player in my eyes. And lucky last, Blake Hardwick. Can you just go look at his forward highlights from the start of 2025? Some of the best footy you've ever seen. It's just so simple and fundamentally sound that it's just great to watch. And then you look at his backline work, and he's just one of the best backmen in the entire competition. He's come top 5 in the Hawks best and fairest the last 2 seasons. His finals against the Giants and the Crows, he got 20 plus in both those games. And alongside Battle, who averages almost 20, Sicily, who averages almost 20, Amon, who averages about 25, Impey, 22, like I said, throughout the last about 17 games of the season, and Hardwick is still getting 20 twice in a row in the finals. Mate, he's just one of the most underrated players in the competition. He would start as the best defender on the best small forward in every single team in this competition. One of the most underrated players ever. I just don't understand. He's not flashy, his numbers don't jump off the page, but just listen to how his teammates and how other people around the league talk about him. The people that actually know footy, not just the media who are looking to put out just controversial headlines for clicks and, stuff like that. He's one of the best players in the competition. And look, he might not be an A grade or an A plus, but at minimum, he's an A minus player. Just going off the finals he had in 2025, 20 plus games, he shut down Toby Green, and Toby Green basically did nothing for the Giants against the Hawks. He's just off night. I call him off night on this channel for a reason. Blake Hardwick, A grade player. Now let's take a look at the whole list overall. No A plus players, to be honest. So just starting from A: Newcomb, Moore, Day, Gunston, Battle, Hardwick, Amon, Sicily. Now you might think some of those guys in the A minus. I don't have any players in the A minus now. Look, I was thinking Impey, but he had 28 touches and 7 marks in the elimination final. Maybe you could slide an A1 down to A-, but in the first 2 finals, he averaged 20 touches and a goal, so yeah, he's too good for A-. Hardwick may be an A- player, but he had back-to-back finals games with 20-plus touches and shut down the other team's best small forward. People forget these guys might not be considered A-graders in the home and away, but they all step up in the finals, and I think that just bumps them up that half a grade more to put them in that elite conversation for players. B+, Josh Whittle. We saw what he did coming back after injury, straight into the wing in the finals. That's not an easy task for any player. Literally, the best players in the league would have trouble doing that. He did it great, so he's definitely a B+. Ginnivan, Watson, D'Ambrosio, we've seen what they can do. I reckon if you don't consider them B+ players right now, you consider them Bs that have potential to go to either B+ or A- next year, so they're definitely there. Jack Scrimshaw, takeaways down here in 2025. Look at his stats from the 4 seasons before. He's a 20 disposal backman, and Yep, he just had a bad year. He's definitely B+. Connor McDonald, you may consider him a B-grade player, but he had 3 goals in the first half in the elimination final and almost had 20 for the game. So, yeah, he steps up in the finals. I think he's a B+ caliber player. At B-grade, Barris, Chol, Meek, and Nash, I think they're just solid B-graders. They're too good to be C+/B-, and they're not good enough to be B+. I think they're the perfect happy medium, to be honest. Deer, Ward, and Lewis. Deer and Lewis are obviously coming back from injuries, so you're taking that into account, and we saw how good they were pre-injury, so I think at the moment they're probably a solid B- with potential to be B+ at the end of 2026. And Josh Ward, he's a solid B grader he's probably B- right now, to be honest, but what I've seen from the pre-season, what I've read and what I've heard, he's going to have a breakout year. I can see him potentially averaging 24, 25 touches. So, yeah, I think he belongs there right now. Then C- through to C+. These are just the average players / young guys with plenty of potential to move up a grade in the next year or so. So, Husway and McDonald, I forgot to mention them earlier, but they're probably C- caliber players. They're definitely solid players for 20 years old, but they could improve a little bit more throughout the year. So right now they're C-. McGuinness and Reeves, they're probably the most average players on the list, to be honest with you, but not bad players by any means. Good depth pieces, so yeah, they're solid C graders. McKenzie, Butler, and Morrison, they could be anything in 2026. Right now they're all really solid depth pieces. Morrison, he's only about 26, 27. He averaged 18 touches in 2025. If he has a good year, pushes that up to 20, then he's going to be a really solid player on the wing. Butler, like I said earlier, if he can average 6 to 8 tackles, almost a goal per game in the mid-teens disposal-wise, he's going to be a great depth piece. I could see him playing 15 to 20 games in 2026. And then Cam McKenzie, he's going to take the next step in his game. I don't know if he'll break out, but I reckon he averages between 18 to 20 disposals minimum per game, and I think he's going to have a Josh Ward-like year. They were both number 7 picks. Mackenzie's going into year 4. Ward sort of had his, not breakout, but he went to the next level this season in year 4. So, yeah, they're really good AFL players, I reckon. That's the video, guys. As always, comment below what did I get right, what did I get wrong, and what would you change. Always love reading your comments. I've also just uploaded the video about Hawthorn's lineup going into next year, so if you're interested in seeing that, definitely check it out. Also, this list is what I think the plays are currently, and if you want to see another one of what I think they could be at the end of the 2026 season, comment down below, let me know. Also, I've just got a new mic, so let me know how it sounds, because it's pretty fancy, and I've got to fiddle around with the settings. So yeah, if it sounds good, let me know. If it sounds trash, let me know, I'll fix it.